Good afternoon, all, and welcome to this webinar on the topic Leverage Technology and Bring Agility to Your Business Processes and Product Innovation. First, we thank each one of you for taking your time out and joining this webinar. I would like to begin this webinar by giving a short introduction about EDS Technologies. EDS Technologies Private Limited was incorporated in 1994 to focus on providing PLM solutions, implementation, and support. EDS Technologies is the largest PLM and engineering solutions provider in India. EDST has served more than 1,500 customers across India and operates in 7 locations across India and headquartered in Bangalore. EDS Technologies is a platinum partner to Dassault Systèmes. It has also strategic partnerships with technology leaders like EOS for additive manufacturing requirements, Human Solutions for ergonomic solutions for automotive and aerospace industries, Technia for ensuring product data quality. For military simulation and training needs of aerospace and defense industry, EDS Technologies has partnered with Presagis and MAC for visual simulation solutions. With respect to EDA solutions, EDS Technologies works closely with Synopsys. For GIS, there is a strong partnership with Esri. EDST has also recently signed up with Festo for Industry 4.0 solutions for the academia. EDST has sales, support, marketing, and customer satisfaction teams to address customers' PLM business and support requirements. Extending its solutions, EDST has its own e-learning portal, EDST e-learning, which is a web-based training and skill development application with more than 135 CAD and domain-based courses, which was more than 12,000 subscribers. EV is the trending topic of discussion today, and many conventional and new players have entered this segment. Thanks to the support extended by the government, which was even spelled out in the recent budget, there is a lot of opportunity out there. EDST is proud to have engaged with majority of EV manufacturers in India. EDST provides solutions for battery engineering, body structure engineering, charging infrastructure, electric powertrain, interior and exterior trims, and electrical wiring harness. To dwell more on this in today's webinar, we have two speakers. The first speaker is Mr. Srinivasan Lakshman, who is the Managing Director of Maruti Design and Engineering Private Limited. He has over 20 years of experience in automotive engineering and product applications domain. He has delivered multiple design projects to various automobile companies across the globe, and he has also delivered multiple projects to various EV customers and companies across India. Our second speaker is Mr. Srikumar Maganti, who is working as DGM Technical at EDS Technologies. He has more than 20 years of experience in the PLM field, covering technology sales, technical support, and CRM. He also has global certifications from Dassault Systèmes. At EDS Technologies, he manages technical team and oversees the Karnataka and Kerala regions. Hope you have an exciting and knowledgeable session. Over to you, Mr. Srikumar.
Thank you, Mr. Abhay, for introducing us. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to Mr. Srinivasan Lakshman. Thanks for your valuable presence, sir, to be part of this webinar session. And we all know that you have been working closely with EV segment for many years. And today we will have this discussion before we get into webinar. Mr. Srinivasan, can you let us know briefly about your current engagement in the EV segment?
Yeah, thanks, Srikumar. So Maruti primarily we are an engineering services company. We've been in the industry for over 11 years, and then especially in the EV segment, we've been working in that space for about the last 4 to 5 years, and we've been quite a bit focused on supporting our clients on various EV requirements, and in terms of four or five major areas, which is basically the engineering design side of things, the analysis side of things. Again, under analysis, there's FEA, CFD, thermal, and we also support a little bit on the manufacturing engineering side as well. So everything that is needed for a full vehicle development, all the way from industrial design, the sketching side of things, all the way up to prototyping, we support customers in the whole 9 yards in the development space. Each customer has a different need, depends on what they want. Sometimes it's an existing design modification, sometimes it's a completely new product development. So depending upon what our customer needs, we are able to offer our services. But in general, the entire broad spectrum of all the way from the sketching to design to analysis to prototyping, we can support that entire stream of activities at Maruti.
That's really good to know that you cover and most of the new product development aspects. How do you use the technology and what is its role on the value stream engineering especially on the EV projects that you undertake?
Yeah, so I mean, EVs have changed things a lot compared to the traditional way of how things have been done, right? Because it was when it was the traditional vehicles, there were only very few OEMs that were working on it, and there was set process and stuff. But there are now so many OEMs, and everybody is looking to develop these electric vehicles, and good reason for it also, right? It's a good thing that is happening because it brings out more ideas, more people as they get involved, and a good thing comes out of it definitely. But again, this has also brought up a challenge in terms of how to use technology, right? So the traditional ways and means of how things used to be done are slowly getting obsolete, I should say, and everybody's getting into a new stream or a new way of doing things, and that you've been hearing the word cloud all over the place, right? So it is playing a very pivotal role in terms of how work gets done, be it our engineering, be it IT, whatever it might be, right? So data management, getting access to data, everything has become you want it on the go, right? You want it on the go, and at any given point of time you need to quickly access it, talk to customers, talk to vendors, discuss it, you're in office, whatever it might be. So this cloud products have really taken off quite a bit, and when it comes to EDS and Dassault Systèmes products, again, the 3D experience, pretty much every product that you now have is on the cloud, right? I mean, there's nothing that you cannot do on the cloud right now, and that has completely helped. Not just the traditional OEMs are also moving to that way of working, and the new EV companies are getting more and more comfortable using that as well. So yeah, this. Definitely, I mean, in terms of technology, it has really helped us. The new tools have really helped us get the product faster to the market compared to how it was before, I would say.
Yeah. So you have already seen how the cloud technologies can really help in terms of EV development. So do you see cloud and similar technologies being the accelerator here for a startup environment? And how they are using this technology to accelerate their go-to-market strategy?
Yeah. So one important thing is that I mean, sometimes people think developing a EV is fairly easy. It has less moving parts, is motor of the battery and all that, but it's not so. It is also complex. It has so many parts. It has the same packaging constraints. It has everything. So you need to work with vendors. You need to work with customers on the go, and go to their plant, show off your design, and see what changes are needed. So many things are happening, right? So this can only, especially with new startups and new EV companies, it's a challenge. How do you do it, right? So I think kind of the cloud technologies are able to stitch these things together: the design team, the manufacturing team, the vendor team, the sourcing team. So all of these things are all integrated into this one system, and above all of it is that it's on the cloud, right? And then it's you can access it anywhere. You can talk to one vendor here or any other vendor. He can access your files, look at it. So yeah, I mean, especially for the smaller companies, it's a big boon. I mean, it is who do not have the bandwidth to be investing in standalone products at every client location or every vendor location and all that stuff. It's much more easier here. It's made life more easier and smoother. So the cost of development, I would say, has probably come down for them because of these technologies that are available.
So definitely it is a booster for startups to adapt cloud technologies and reduce their cost, especially in the initial development of the product. How do you foresee the EV environment evolving in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting question. So I can tell that there are many companies now in the last 3 years that have come up and starting to do EVs. But one thing that we all have to understand is it is no less complex process that compared to the traditional way of doing vehicles. So yeah, and the thing is, the traditional OEMs have already set the process. They have set their quality parameters. Everything is so set there. Here, it's a learning curve. Everybody's trying to learn how to do this, how to do the sourcing, so there are 2-3 important things that are very much involved for a EV company. Number one is to understand the complexity of it and plan for it, making sure that you give it the time, give it the money it needs to be able to develop a product. So before anybody gets into it, they have to really understand the long term. It's not about proto. Everybody can do. I mean, proto people can do. I mean, you can put a vehicle together, but then taking that vehicle from proto to production is another ball game. So it will evolve. I think so many companies are coming, but people who are in it for the long run, who stay put, who have the commitment to stay put, will survive because it's still a huge market and there is space for multiple players. But the thing is, very important thing is, some players will go away, some players will stay, and who stays is the people who have the commitment, the drive for a longer run. It's not a 6 months, 1 year game. So that's how it's going to. It'll evolve quite a bit, and especially battery and swapping. So it's so changing so fast. So somebody who can adapt, right, is also very important.
Yeah, definitely the adaptability is the right mantra for the new startups, especially to stay in the long run. Yeah, it was a very nice insights from your end, Mr. Srinivasan. So I will move on with this webinar on how to bring agility into business processes using our solutions. Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan. I will continue with the webinar. So moving on to this, I will be highlighting on today's agenda. That is starting with the business drivers and technological challenges within the EV segment, followed by delivering a digital vision. So this is the one which is going to bring in the agility first into EV segment, and then developing performance-driven prototype, followed by achieving the collaborative development. So these are 3 important aspects of EV segment which I will be covering today, and followed by customer references and question and answer session. To start with business drivers in the EV segment, as you can see here, if you see the last 10 years, there has been a dramatic change in the automotive sector, especially the transportation mobility segment has been going through phenomenal changes with respect to vehicle electrification, shared mobility. You see like a lot of Ubers and Olas coming into Indian market, and also a lot of shared mobility which has come in the recent times. There are multiple organizations working for shared mobility, and then now people are moving towards autonomous driving. So the driverless experience is something which is most sought after, and which is already running with the latest developments. And you will soon foresee a lot of autonomous driving vehicles on the roads. So typically, these are some of the latest happenings in the segment in the last, I would say, last 5 to 6 years. And then suddenly you see a lot of startups coming in electrical vehicle segment, and especially in India also you see more than almost around 200 startups who have come in the recent times, and a lot of work is happening in this particular EV segment. These are the 3 important areas which needs to be addressed. So for that, we need to have charging infrastructure in place. So Indian government, central government has already announced new EV policy along with some kind of subsidies to both 2-wheelers and as well as 4-wheelers. That is how the EV startups are being encouraged in this particular current environment. Charging infrastructure is the most important aspect when it comes to EV segment. that is going to be the backbone in terms of serving the vehicles across the country. So a lot of new charging stations are coming up, especially in the north, around Delhi region, covering states like Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and all. At the same time, in south also, you see a lot of charging infrastructure being developed by the companies, and you can soon see mass charging stations coming up across all the national highways across the city, across the countries. It also talks about the connectivity and IoT. So now today, every vehicle is fitted with Wi-Fi chips, semiconductors, and the sensor-based technology is already taken over. So the Internet of Things will definitely work. So you will come, as you move on the road, you will come to know which are the hotels available and which are the nearby charging stations available, and which are the nearby hotels, bus stations or bus stops or whichever you want to find out on the road. You will definitely see them on the screen with the help of internet technologies, and whatever is happening on the roads, you will get to know the information quickly as you move on. So the Wi-Fi based Internet of Things will definitely work in tandem with EV development. Then comes decentralization of energy systems. So typically the energy systems which are there traditionally, then they also need a lot of boost up to support this charging infrastructure. So you will find a lot of power grids coming in, and at the same time supporting the charging infrastructure and charging stations across the country. Then the public transit also will come in with the help of vehicle electrification, and you will see lot of impact on the public transit. The shared mobility will be the mantra. As you know, like today you can run any car, even a luxury car also is available for rentals. So a lot of shared mobility cars have already come in onto the roads, and this is actually if you are looking at the consumer experience, already we have taken leaps and bounds in terms of technology. So these are some of the business drivers which are running in the EV segment, and the new systems that represent these technological changes are here. So typically battery, electric drive, power electronics, then the high ventilation and air conditioning, then the chassis fitted by the battery packs and battery systems. So similarly, if you see in the two-wheeler systems also, in the two-wheeler as well, you find the power drive unit, high voltage battery, charger, and also the sensors, vehicle sensors. All these work in tandem. So these are the things which needs to be changed in terms of design and development in EV segment. So these systems represent new technological changes, and every startup is definitely vying to get into these technologies with this kind of new setup. So coming to this, delivering the digital vision, as we say, like bringing the agility into the business processes and product innovation, it requires digital experience. Today, everything is digitalized. So if you see in terms of the transactions that we carry out today, India is a number one in terms of digital transactions, overtaking China in the recent times. So you can see that every day today we are very much used to do digital payments using Google Pay, Phone Pay, or any other banking transactions. Everything we do in a digital fashion. So we don't have to really touch the cash in our pockets as long as we have a smartphone in place. So that is what the digital experience, that is what all about. So when we bring this same digital experience into EV segment, so delivering the digital vision is the utmost important criteria here. So as a part of this digital experience, so Dassault Systèmes 3D experience platform provides the digital vision for EV segment in this fashion. So we start with the 3D packaging to concept, and then virtual styling to Class A surfaces, and we need to validate those vehicle experiences upfront even before you start your prototype. So these are the three important stages which will come in as a part of digital vision. So as a part of you see vehicle packaging and compliance, then the chassis and suspension concept engineering, body structure concept engineering, then class A surfaces, which are essential for aesthetics and quality surfaces, and then vehicle experience, the design experience and validation even before you go for a prototype. So this is something which is very much needed because you have to verify and validate each and every aspect of the design before you get on to prototyping and further manufacturing. So as a part of this digital vision, I will just take you through how CATIA 3D experience will help you in terms of achieving this digital vision. So this is one project of Silver Bull, a project which is started from the scratch, starting with a few sketching ideas, and then these sketching ideas have been translated into a 3D model, a 3D clay model, I would say, and then the preliminary design. Then we look into complete assembly. So this is a typical customer case study, which is run on CATIA 3D experience. The role is creative designer, using which we are able to start our design right from the sketching stage to preliminary design and then the detailed design. So in this case, this particular project highlights about sketching ideas and getting into clay modeling, then the preliminary design concepts being arrived, and then you can see the finer details coming in. And at the same time, you also see the quality surface, which is very much need of the hour for EV segment, especially for the new product variants which are coming into the market. So this is where you can actually bring in the high quality surface concepts using CATIA shape design, and then you can implement those ideas in the beginning stage of the design itself. So here the virtual styling can be done, it can be highlighted, and then you will also go for design, the first level initial design validation, and also the real-time virtual reality experience. So these are the three important aspects which are part of digital vision. You quickly create the sketches and bring forth those ideas into a preliminary design stage using these tools very effectively. So in this case, your digital vision starts with these concepts, and then you arrive at a specific design, and then you validate that particular initial design and move on to the next level. Then comes developing performance-driven prototype. So typically, this particular aspect involves 3D concept engineering. Then we also look into wiring harness, that is electrical wiring harness and circuits, and then the e-drive engineering. So the electric powertrain systems which come into effect here, because this is something a drastic change in the EV segment. And then the vehicle system engineering. So when we say vehicle system engineering, it combines the aspects of mechanical, electrical, and electronic systems, three coming together here. The multiple domains are addressed together as a part of vehicle systems engineering. So when we go for this, we also run through the battery engineering and its simulations here. So we need to see how the real-time conditions can be replicated in the virtual environment, and then we can arrive at specific aspects of the design, and we can create a prototype based on the results. So in this case, I will start with again a customer case study coming from India, wherein the simulation helps in terms of battery cooling. So in this case, this is a typical example again from India, wherein the customer is very much looking at the design of the battery pack. So the battery pack is positioned right below the sitting position of a passenger, a driver, I would say. And then here the temperature, the thermal management is being monitored closely. As you get into a specific vehicle speed levels, so how this temperature impacts the battery and its cooling system. So in this case, when we provided specific holes to the battery system, we are able to control the temperature of the entire battery pack in a very effective manner as at a specific vehicle speed that we move on. So in this case, you can see the complete battery pack and the battery cells being highlighted here. So when we run the first level simulation, there was 51 degrees temperature centigrade, and then we have when we create these particular holes onto the battery pack, we are able to reduce the temperature to 45 degrees centigrade. So this is a typical example even before you get into prototyping. So you can do you can create the specific design based on this virtual simulations, and these things are going to be very helpful in the long run. So in this case, the battery cooling simulation is taken as one of the examples, wherein by creating specific holes in the battery module pack assembly, we are able to control the temperature with the vehicle speeds. And there are also multiple other simulations which we can run on this EV segment for the two-wheelers. I will run through that once. these are some of the areas with respect to two-wheeler simulations, be it aerodynamics or the thermal management and water and dirt management, or in terms of specific parts and topology optimization. So these kind of simulations can be run in the virtual environment, and we can arrive at the prototype based on these simulations in a precise manner. So this also involves, apart from battery engineering, we also look into electrical wiring harness solutions, and then the vehicle systems engineering. So these are some of the aspects which are covered under performance-driven prototype. So when we complete this prototype based on the virtual environment, virtual design, and virtual simulations, we are in a position to come out with the first prototype, which can be ready for the manufacturing. So when we run this, battery engineering plays a very important role. So be it the radial compression or impact analysis, or 3-point bending of specific battery cells. So we can look at all the aspects of the battery cell in terms of battery cell engineering to minimize the thermoelectrical losses, manage the thermal impact, and also the strength, stiffness, and durability of the battery pack at assembly level as well. And also we need to look at the safety aspects. So we can run these virtual simulations on battery cell or battery module or battery pack, and we can understand how the battery pack is going to behave in the real-time environment. So we can also look at how to improve the battery life with respect to specific vehicle road conditions. We can also predict the aging behavior of the battery cells, and then we can also look at the reduced order modeling. So here are a few examples with respect to battery cell simulation, wherein we are able to mesh accurately the battery cell, and also we can expand these simulations to battery pack and battery at the vehicle assembly level. So moving on to the important part of third one, that is achieving collaborative development. So when we run this program, when we start an EV program, definitely it requires a lot of players to come together and work in synchronization. So be it design, simulation, or manufacturing, but the system should take care of the processes which are running through EV development. So here the PLM, what we call product lifecycle management, plays a very critical role right from this beginning in terms of collaborative development. So as a part of this collaborative development, we have supplier collaboration and sourcing, then bill of materials generation and release management and change management, and also the digital markup validation on a web interface. So these are three important aspects of collaborative development, wherein we'll be working closely with our suppliers, and also within the teams we'll be collaborating each other, the project teams belonging to design, simulation, and manufacturing, and also the decision makers and managers. So this collaborative development tool, if you start using right from the beginning, it is going to help you in terms of the transparency, the systematic and process-centric approach. So I will take you through one simple example of a motorcycle, wherein we cover all the aspects right from the beginning. So as you can see from the screen, there is a requirement for electric motor vehicle, which is a long-range electric motorcycle, which has 18 kilowatt-hour battery capacity. So this is something which is taken as an idea in the beginning with the 18 kilowatt-hour capacity and high performance cruise with long range. So when we say long range, it is again from 200 kilometers to further. So looking at all aspects, so we are looking into the battery cell engineering. So there are nickel batteries, lithium, cobalt, there are multiple types of materials available. So we pick up a specific material for this battery, which will take care of 18 kilowatt hour performance, 18 kilowatt hour capacity. So in this case, right now, whatever I am showing you in on the screen is basically the 3D experience platform on Innovia, wherein we are able to visualize everything on the web interface. So with the HTTP protocol, we can run through this. We can visualize the entire 3D of a given assembly in a 3D viewer, which is available on the web interface itself. So web interface can be Internet Explorer or Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. So we can run through this particular battery development, how to bring in this battery and replace the existing one. This is where we are looking at the change management. We are emphasizing here as a part of this collaborative development. So there is an assembly which holds the battery pack. So we have opened that in the CATIA 3D experience platform. We are able to replace that with the 18 kilowatt hour battery pack. So once we complete that, the bill of materials also will change, and the change action is performed on replacing the specific battery pack. So once we complete that, we can validate that once again in the 3D viewer, and we can approve the changes, and later on see the updates in engineering bill of materials. So what are the changes that are done that can be highlighted with the color intelligence? So in the business intelligence navigator, and then once we complete that, we move on to shop floor with the process planning. So again, in terms of process planning, Delmia process planner role will help us in terms of assembly. So the assembly also gets impacted with the process planning with 18 kilowatt hour capacity battery pack. So in this case, we are able to visualize everything in 3D without having to come out of this particular screen. We are moving from design to simulation to manufacturing in a seamless manner, having this collaborative environment in place. So this is the typical progress that you can see using 3D experience platform. So we cover all these aspects of collaborative development. So we can also create our own communities, technical communities, and then bring in the new ideas. Based on the new ideas, you can decide to go for a change action. And this change action, once it is updated, you can see the changes in the assembly. You can visualize them, those updates in the 3D viewer instantly on the web interface itself. So this having this all the three aspects, like the digital vision, right from starting with the digital vision, then developing the performance-driven prototype using specific virtual simulations, and then seeing the entire business processes flowing through a specific collaborative environment. So these are the three important aspects which will bring agility into all the business processes and the product innovation that you take up under EV segment. So these are some of the case studies which I wanted to highlight in this webinar, wherein our customers have really benefited from this particular exercise. There are new startups who have taken this challenge, and they are taking the complete package, wherein they are able to see the digital vision as well as the collaborative development with the prototype in action. So this is what I wanted to highlight, and especially this will be useful for all the EV startups, especially in the two-wheeler segment, who are actually coming out with new products and new product variants. Again, the backbone will be and the emphasis will be on the battery engineering and battery pack, how it is going to impact the entire design. As a part of digital vision, we cover all the aspects of vehicle packaging and compliance, body structure engineering, then the chassis and suspension engineering, then class A surfaces, design experience and validation, and continuous product development. So when it comes to performance-driven prototypes, so we focus on virtual simulations, wiring harness, body structure engineering, and the electrical powertrain. that is systems engineering. Then we move on to collaborative development, which is a backbone of this entire program. Using this collaborative development in a collaborative environment, we are able to address multiple aspects of product lifecycle management, that is component sourcing, then bill of materials generation, revision control, and also change management, and 3D digital markup validations on the web interface itself. So these are the three important aspects of business strategy through which a EV startup can really benefit in terms of starting with their program and successfully come out with their prototype, which is qualified for manufacturing. So today, many EV startups have really picked up these solutions on cloud as well, and because the cloud infrastructure will definitely help in terms of investments in the beginning stage, and this is going to help. This particular program of electromobility accelerator is going to help the EV startups in a very big way. Already we see that phenomenon in India happening, and we are part of this EV revolution which is currently running. So I will take an example of a live story from one of our global customers, that is Neuron Motors.
Imagine a kid who loves motorbikes and dreams of making one from scratch, but all electric. That kid, that's me. The project is ambitious, but I'm crazy enough to get it started. I have a vision. I am convinced tomorrow's motorbikes will be powered by clean, reliable, silent energy, which will redefine mobility. After loads of work, I have my first prototype up and running, and I get the chance to show it off. Naturally, real life catches up with you. Compromises have to be made. I decided to put the project on hold and join a big company.
And so you put the project on hold. What happened next?
Then I meet someone very important. Neuron gets started. We work quickly. We develop our first technical prototype. An opportunity comes along to meet Dassault Systèmes design team within the incubator program. They confront us with their experience thinking methods. We then define the Neuron services model using a systems approach. The 3D experience platform on the cloud keeps us connected at every step of the way. It makes us very agile. We sketch, we model, we 3D print, we validate technical hypotheses. This collaboration ensures continuity all the way to industrialization. But the money runs out. An incubator program is over.
So, it's all over?
Technically, we've made a giant leap. Life goes on, and I'm on my own again. But I don't give up. I've finalized the concept. The second technical prototype hits the ground and takes off running. Concept identity is robust. Everyone wants their dreams to come true. I appreciate the help of my partners. But actually, it's not over yet. The story has just begun. I am Sebastian Naru, founder of Neuron.
So this is a typical live case study which is running from Neuron Motors, wherein they are able to come out with successfully with their first prototype, and the second one which is their dream in reality. So this is how electromobility accelerator program can definitely help all the EV startups, be it two-wheelers or four-wheelers or tri-wheelers. We are supporting our customers, even including the segments like EV buses, wherein we have the presence, and we continue to support our customers very closely in EV segment. Coming back to this, so three major steps of starting with developing a digital vision, and then followed by performance driven prototype, and achieving the collaborative development through which we are able to emphasize on new product development under EV segment. Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan, for joining us on this live webinar session, and we'd be very much glad to take further questions. If you have any, you can send us, you can write us an email, or you can even ping up anytime with EDS Technologies. You can reach out to us with the particular mail IDs or contact numbers, and we are here available for you to support your EV journey and EV startup environments. We are already working closely with more than 15 companies across India within a span of 2 years, and we definitely see a greater potential with respect to EV segment. As you are aware, like central government has already announced, and with their EV policy, we are likely to see 30% of the electric vehicles on the roads being run by 2030. So we are here for you to support in this journey, and definitely our experience and our ecosystem will definitely be helpful for you in terms of your EV journey. Thank you all. Thank you very much for your attention.